Stugotz still has a smile on his face because he is made happier when others serve their punishments. He's not great at serving his.
What do you mean?
But he enjoys when the segment is about to start and all of us are putting our headsets on and Tony is fumbling around with his head, his mouse head. And it just so I can explain this to the audience, because I don't know, because I'm an old person, Dead Mouse 5 or whatever, that
oh, boy.
You're so old.
It's just Dead Mouse.
I know. He plays it.
I can understand the confusion.
It's a 5 instead of an S.
He DJs at Live. Look. This part of it. I'm done trying to conceal. Okay, I don't know why it is that person is popular beyond being a DJ who wears. Do people know what he actually looks like?
Yeah.
So the celebrity is just, it's not always costumed. It's not like...
he's now unmasked more often than he's masked, and putting on the mask is now more of a nostalgic bit.
Sounds like Aaron Rodgers.
Tony is trying to do the show this way, and there are legitimate difficulties with it. Stugotz, you'd think, would be mad because he can't see Tony's beautiful face, but he's not mad because he gets to laugh at Tony. But Tony, I now want to make fun of you underneath that head because I believe that all of us can accuse you of being simply a volume shooter when it comes to quarterbacks you love, that your evaluation of quarterbacks, and he might be ahead of the game here, Stugotz. 5 years from now, teams might just draft all 6 quarterbacks because it's such a valuable position.
It's what the Bears should do.
And they're going to get injured.
Yes.
So just draft 6 of them and see if you figure it out one time. But Tony, every time a quarterback plays on Sunday and doesn't look like Tim Boyle, Tony falls head over heels in love. It's like the guy who goes to the strip club and leaves every time falling in love. On Sundays, Tony finds any quarterback that completes 9 passes, and he's like, I'm in love. I can't help it.
This time it's different.
It's that you see something, right? And I'll get you guys to understand this point one time. All you need to see is a flicker of light.
That's it.
For there to be a spark.
She really likes me.
Okay? I told everybody in week 2 of Tony's Top 5, take a look at Sam Howell. There's something there. He threw a very special pass to Brian Robinson. Sidearm, Dan, I know you remember that pass. It's because you were watching and you agreed with me.
She told me her real name.
Sidearm across his body, fit through through a window through 2 defenders, and I was like, keep an eye on Sam Howell. All of a sudden, commanders say, you know what? This is our guy. We're going to sell everybody. Sam Howell's our quarterback. And last week, on Monday, I told you when I gave you my all-squint team, hey, take a look at Jake Browning. If you squint, he kind of looks like Joe Burrow. And then all of a sudden, Mike, I have video evidence of Mike saying, yeah, the only thing that they're similar in is that they're white. All of a sudden, Mike likes Jake Browning.
She stayed after her shift.
And the initials.
I don't think it's the initials.
Browning,
yes, it is something they have in common.
Yeah, well, you also said that he had a similar swag. I don't think anyone has a swag like Joe Burrow.
I didn't say that. The announcer during the game said he had the same vibe.
Yeah, thank you for the correction.
Vibe check.
Browning looked good in college at Washington. His first NFL start was against a pretty good defense. But, yeah, I hope that Tony's game, as we all know, rec league basketball player, I certainly hope that his basketball game is more efficient than his QB evals because, yeah, he is a volume shooter when it comes to that. Say everybody is good, and then in the event that one of them actually catch on, he gets to be I was right guy about that.
So, do you guys want content or not? I could tell you one guy for the rest of the season and then just be boring.
Or
do you want every
a
week
new guy
somebody
every week.
new?
Yep.
Tony, you don't bore me. I don't want you to change. In fact, I'd like you to sink in deeper to this character, but I also don't want to ignore the fact that you're a volume shooter when it comes to this.
Everybody's a volume shooter in the contact game, Mike. Nobody puts out just one thing and then lives for it the rest of their lives. Like
Exactly.
every single week, we make something happen on Tony's Top 5. We prop up a quarterback that needs propping up. And I think looking at back in 2012, Washington picked who? Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins. So we're going to take both. We'll figure it out later, right? Great coaching staff that said that. I'm just telling you now, in 2023, keep an eye on a lot of quarterbacks because in the next 2 to 3 years, Aiden O'Connell might pop up somewhere.
He's a volume shooter. I'm just telling you, keep an eye on all the quarterbacks.
I can't wait for Tony's Top 5 later today where you're still stuck wearing that mask.
But Tony's right. San Fran did the same thing. They took Trey Lance. They took Brock Purdy. They figured it out. I mean, that's what you do. Just take quarterbacks, man. I've been saying it for years.
You have been.
Yeah.
At the end, Stugotz is going to win, and it's all going to be what Spencer Hall says, that America has always done the dumbest thing and then does something slightly less dumb. dumb. Football is that. Football is we won't go for it on 4th down, and now even Mike McCarthy is a renegade.
Yeah.
Like, it's so strange to see Mike McCarthy on 4th and 2.
Back on Browning, he looked.
Go! We're
confidence,
going for
yeah.
it.
That
No
is,
puns.
I'm so with Dan. That is of all the coaches, the one where it's like he's faking it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be going for it
Well,
right now.
trust me, we'll all find out together when the games get more important.
Yeah, well,
it's easy to be
yes.
4th and 5 on my own 40 against the Commanders. Let's go.
This weekend against the Eagles. Let me see him do it. Yeah.
But we'll get tight on the road in the playoffs. It will.
When they're already saying that
Inevitably.
if he doesn't make a deep run, they say he's going to get fired. Like
Yeah.
that is, and that's how your coach is going to have to play in the playoffs. Stugotz, my hat fell off again. Let me go get it.
What is a deep run? What does that constitute? Is that championship game? Is that Super Bowl?
It's different for every
championship
team.
game. I know you win the division. You have to win one home game to get to the championship game.
Jake the Snake vibes now from Dan.
That's a pretty good one too. I think that's just hair, though. Jake the Snake.
It's hair and the stash, and the fact that you're next to a snake.
Hey,
or that I'm wandering around through life with a snake draped around my neck.
Yeah.
Can we get Stugotz like draped around your
I would
shoulders?
love
yeah.
to be
Can you
draped around
replicate
your
this
neck.
photo?
Yes.
Can you take the hat off again, Dan? And Stugotz, can you pretend to be? This is you're pretty method when it comes to
I'll
this.
be a
Can
snake,
you be the
Mike,
snake?
yeah.
Wouldn't I have to carry him on my shoulders?
That's right.
Yeah,
I try-
Torture
yeah,
rack style.
yeah, torture rack.
so I'd
Lex Luger's torture
Greg
rack.
Cody could do it.
So I'd have to get up. How much? Are you
Do it
weighing
sitting.
these
No,
days?
you can now. Well, I don't think that chair can. It barely holds Dan.
You want me to stand up with Stugotz on my shoulders and then
Already
sit
be
down?
standing and
I
have
think
Stugotz try to climb
Isn't
on
there
your
a
back.
table to your left? He stands on the table kind of and drapes over you.
That table's a little flimsy.
Yeah.
I'm 155 right now.
No shot.
Yeah. In
right.
your bra.
All right, Mike. All right, let me do this then while I am trying to do this because this is going to take some sort of physical exertion.
Chris, go in there and help him.
But while we're doing this, I wish for you and Jeremy, please, to help me because I want to very badly embrace FSU as this show's team as a champion because FSU is really going through it right now. And I want to support what's happening at FSU in a way that's prolonged and over the next couple of weeks that we make a show of FSU has been wronged here and the Miami show is going to weirdly defend FSU.
Well, it is an eventful week for FSU for obvious reasons and not so obvious reasons. I don't know how deep into portal season our audience is or all the rumor and innuendo surrounding recruiting, but let's begin with the threatening of lawsuits and how their week is going just from a CFP perspective. There are calls to ban to boycott the
I got
Orange
him.
Ball. The Orange Bowl. You did it.
Oh my God.
All right, I'll do the show like this for a while.
You can?
Yeah.
A while.
All right. So let me talk about the latest developments
155.
going on with FSU. Pat Payton.
How many cigarettes did you smoke this morning?
155.
So Patrick Payton is an edge rusher for FSU, a real good player. He posted on social media that he is entering the portal. And this is the type of player that you'd want to keep
Right.
if you're FSU, especially a team that is losing so much talent in the next year. There's all sorts of rumors that it's an NIL problem, that the bag that he was expecting to be there wasn't there. This is a very dangerous and precarious situation to be in. For all the talk about John Ruiz and Miami and all that, they haven't given this ammunition to the masses. You don't have kids saying they're not getting paid. So, Jeremy, as you probably already know, being a UCF football fan, this is a really dangerous, slippery slope, and they can go from CFP contenders to it all unraveling.
Well, that's the thing with FSU is Mike Norvell obviously built something pretty special with this team this season, but so much of what's going on with the portal not only allows teams to get into the game of trying to get to the playoff whenever they're, building up a team through the transfer portal, but you also have the opportunity for teams to completely fall out of contention when, say, a quarterback graduates or moves on and the rest of your team is leaving via the portal. One of the funniest things, and it's not funny, but one of the funniest things that I saw in response to 247 tweeting out that Patrick Payton was heading into the portal was an FSU fan responding and saying, "This week has been like 100 September 11ths.
That's the right perspective,
Oh,
I
come
think,
on,
right?
come on.
From college football.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about Stugotz's breath.
do you
It's
mean?
so bad. bad.
right. You smell good.
I mean, come on, though. Yeah, it's breakfast time.
I know.
You smell like an ashtray.
155 heaters for breakfast.
What is that, Mike? 109.11s? Like, what are we doing?
Well, FSU fans are an emotional bunch, and I have to say they were wrong. They were wronged by the CFP. I think that they should be in the college football playoff.
And it's also hilarious.
It's the fan base that would be the funniest for this thing to happen to, considering how vocal they are on social media. Laying all the cards out on the table, my ties to the University of Miami and how that rivalry is with Florida State. I want to give as many qualifiers as I possibly can. I rate Mike Norvell. He proved a lot of people wrong. He developed Jordan Travis into a Heisman-worthy contender. The CFP told you how important he is. Jordan Travis notwithstanding, this is a team that was sort of built on a house of cards. Very heavy through the portal. Now, in this day and age, there's nothing wrong with that. You saw how you can microwave a national contender. However, when they all leave, you need to hit home runs right away. And you're off to a real bad start if Patrick Payton is leaving, because in recruiting and in portal season, perception is reality. It is a momentum game. And if they cannot come through and retain their players will see that and just totally cross them off a list. So this can turn real ugly real quick for Mike Norvell, who, again, I rate as a coach. That staff has proven in-game adjustments are great. They can develop the quarterback. But the rest of the roster, all portal guys pretty much. Very few roster development outside of a few exceptions. So this could go away real quickly, and that's unfortunate considering they don't even have the CFP to hold up as a reward for it.
I'm tired of FSU fans. I really am. Like, enough of FSU fans complaining, bitching, moaning about what's going on or what just happened to their team and their school. Get over it. Your quarterback got hurt. Then your backup quarterback got hurt. Now you're down to your third-string quarterback. The committee sat there and watched you score 3 points against a Louisville team in the ACC tournament. You know what? I want, in the ACC final, I want more committees. I want a committee to decide who makes it to the NFL playoffs. I do.
Thank God Dan picked his head up, because I thought he just got choked out.
Yeah, he looks like he's dead.
I mean, I do.
He's saying he's tired of FSU. I am physically and awfully tired right now, because I will tell you, Stugotz during the pandemic has gained 70 pounds. I am already, Mike, getting a whole lot of people who are criticizing me because I'm breathing too heavily into the microphone.
Yeah, and occasionally, if you listen real close, your body will make a sound like an anaconda digesting food.
Yes.
I don't know if that's stress.
No, I've been seeing doctors.
Or sadness, gurgling.
This is what I imagine you look like after sex. Right now, what you look like.
Have you been doing a lot of imagining of that?
Never till now, but now I am.
Only with the costumes.
Winded and, yes, crazed.
Apologizing.
You know it when you see it, yeah.
An animal in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
I have, yes, everything Mike said is so. It's funny because I'm trying badly to avoid a surgery. I don't want to have a surgery. And so.
Toughen it out. Gutsy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tony.
And what's happened is that I'm making some sounds that are unpleasant every once in a while. But this, how I feel now, and the breathlessness of this particular segment only happens because, and Chris Cody, I'm going to need your help here because you're the one who put Stugotz on my shoulders.
I hurt my back.
That was hard. Like, he is not light anymore. He used to be, we could throw him around the studio and treat him like a stuffed animal. He is not a person who is light anymore. What you just threw on my back, this is the Steph Curry backpack Draymond Green fight. Like, it's what my life has felt like for 20 years, but never has it made me that winded to have it just happen that overtly. On having the snake constrict my breathing is not something we've ever done quite like that, even though we've built the entire company around that.
I've lifted Stugots before, and you are right. It felt like there was two of them.
Mm-hmm. How much weight do you think I've gained? Like 50?
I'm not throwing stones because I'm right there with you. But it's been a rough go of it for all of us.
You don't have to throw stones, but I just felt that what I'm telling you is that what I felt on my neck was a good deal heavier. If my eyes had been closed, if I could squint to see it, and you asked me who was on my shoulders, I would have said that's Whitlock.
Huh.
Like if I had to guess.
Right. I'll take it. I got to be honest.
Not
with
a compliment.
I don't know. I feel like I'm in worse shape than he is right now. I do. He's skinny. He lost some weight. I saw him recently.
What?
I did. Check it out.
Are we going to do a
Concerned you're on that algorithm.
Are we going to do a decathlon? Stugotz, we've done so much damn work to make this an echo chamber. Get out of the algorithm.
I'm afraid to even Google him right now to find out because I don't want him in my algorithm.
I know how I got onto his algorithm. He had a great video taking out Deion Sanders on not knowing his backup center's name. I was like, whoa, this is making a lot of points. And then I'm like, damn, I hate my ally. How beta of him.
Stugotz, I wanted to ask you, because I don't want to get too far from this, because, I don't know, like, the way that we cover sports now is so poisonous and judgmental that LeBron and KD played yesterday in a marketing game that the NBA invented that is a huge amount of fun, and it is just great and amazing and artistic to see the Pacers care about beating the Celtics. Like the thing that's artistic
And
about
the Celtics not caring. I mean,
well, but
Celtics care. You're not watching.
Bigger fish to fry.
You're not.
Yeah.
Please admit to me you're not watching.
I'm
so
not.
I don't have, there you go.
The
I can
artistic-
tell who's not watching by their takes on
It
this.
is fun, indisputably fun, and one of the fun things about it, and also funny, Jeremy, because this part is funny. You see how much the guys care in a way that you don't usually see during the regular season, and you see that it's at least in part because they can get the other guys on the bench some money that is real money. And all of a sudden, all you've added to the NBA is by throwing more money at the bench players. And by the way, if we talk about the collective bargaining agreement and where it is the players have gotten screwed here, it's largely because a lot of times in these meetings where Chris Paul is doing the arguing on behalf of his players, the decisions that get made, instead of being made for the value of the superstars, end up getting made for some of the guys on the bench who have not as much power, but can use the money a little bit more than the Chris Pauls. And that's where the owners take advantage of it on these players, because they're human beings at the end of the bench. The idea that the in-season tournament is something that matters because they're playing for money in the fringes for the little guy in that sport, the little guy. And that at the top of it, LeBron and KD would still, Stugotz, be fighting near the top of that sport after carrying us for 20 years through this sport. I do think we need to appreciate for a second what these human beings are doing. I know we've poisoned Kevin Durant. I know he is now bitter because of whatever the internet has done with him. And I know that LeBron is still corny dad, but he's also a science experiment unlike any we've ever seen. The idea that he's still doing stuff at the basket that out-physicals people 15 years younger than him is totally nuts. But I want to ask you within this, I want to play some Kevin Durant sound while we appreciate the fact that LeBron and KD are still great at this, and now we're having the discussion that they deserve, where, you know, Kendrick Perkins is saying Kevin Durant is the greatest scorer ever. We're putting these people in the context. We spent 20 years saying this one's not as good as this one. Kevin Durant's not as good as this one, but they're two all-timers, Stugotz. And you've given Kevin Durant no rings. Mm-hmm. LeBron James has 4 of them and somehow is viewed as an underachiever. Like somewhere.
And you can see him trying to change the math. He did it with 1 title in Cleveland. And if he gets this new trophy that's invented, you kind of see that manifests itself on the screen in a game that feels way more important than an early December game should ever feel. So kudos to the NBA for this wonderful idea.
I'll give you that. He had a great game last night, had 5 steals, like he's into it, and certainly this has helped, okay? It's helped guys be more into regular season games than they normally would. But we're playing for Christian Wood, who's making $5 million a year. That's the thing behind this.
No,
That's
there are a
what
lot
makes
of
it
guys who
exciting.
aren't
You,
making
as a
nearly
sports
that
fan,
much.
should say that they're playing for a trophy, which should matter, and it doesn't have any kind of value or social currency right now. But through performances like LeBron's and Halliburton's, and seeing the emotion at the end of the bench, then this trophy will start mattering when you can attach emotional moments to them.
But it doesn't matter now. So winning an IST does not bring LeBron closer in terms of resume to Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan doesn't have one of those.
Can't wait for that to age age into 2 or 3 in-season tournaments turning into rings. But the cool part has really been, like, last night, LeBron James has this huge performance in a game that matters, and he says, I'm trying to defeat Father Time. Like, you get to have these type of moments and these type of quotes that only come from that playoff-type atmosphere. And what you saw the other night in Indiana was a playoff atmosphere. It was spectacular to see how the end of that
what
game
we
went.
saw, Stugotz did not see.
I didn't
Right.
see it, but I'm not going to allow you guys to give a win in game 20 of the regular season and make it like some sort of meaningful win.
Indiana Pacers
Get outta
have
here.
10 guys who make less than $3 million. They have 3 two-way contracts on the team. You saw the excitement from that bench.
I
It was
can
so
understand why you're arguing that it's not the playoffs. It's not headed toward a championship ring. But to act like these games don't matter at all when there's clearly an extra motivation behind them and the fan bases are leaning into it, where you're getting playoff-type basketball at this point. I think the reason why this is so exciting is normally because November and December don't matter in this way. People are only paying attention to the NFL. People are only paying attention to college football, and these games in the regular season aren't as relevant. Now these games matter in a way that has been so much fun to watch.
Phoenix is out. The Lakers are still in. And Stugotz, I am surprised. Okay, I'm not surprised that you're not watching, but I am surprised that we can't get you interested in the idea of these guys are pretty overtly playing for money. They're
Right.
playing for extra money. I would think that if I put a TV show on hosted by any celebrity and people get to play for money, and I tell Stugotz that he could have an emotional interest involved in somebody winning more money and because the contestants care a little bit extra, I would think that that would be a game show that you would want to watch. Or in general, any game show like that gives away money. This is your wheelhouse. Here you have it in sports, except it is offensive to the hardened sports fan. Really? I've got to give them more money to get the emotion out of them? I have to give them more money to get them to not load manage and not care, like not look like they don't care?
But it may be bigger than that. I might have to give them more money in this trophy to keep my superstars by giving them moment. Look how Halliburton's bursting onto the scene. Look at the Pelicans, who are a play-in team presently, that since the moment he was drafted, felt like they were fighting for their life to keep Zion Williamson. They're in this Final Four now, and they'll actually have something at the end of the road, to a mark of progress, a piece of hardware to show Zion, it's working. Please buy in. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hope that the NHL learns from it. There's a lot of NHL beat writers that are taking up this cause. Make the Winter Classic the big culmination of an in-season tournament. These are exciting things over in Europe, to have your little fledgling club be alive in something that actually matters. And I think you're seeing it in stories with Indiana and New Orleans.
I feel like we're turning Stugotz a little bit.
You're not. Make the playoffs. Do it there.
I saw
mean,
your
Jesus.
face. I was like, I think we broke him
But
a
they
little.
can't. They can't. Like, in all reality, it's going to be hard for Zion and the Pelicans to do something meaningful in the playoffs. I mean, really meaningful outside of the first round. Some of these teams can't do it in the playoffs, but they can do it here in these one-game samples. And I think that's going to be cool going forward.
And Tyrese Halliburton, he's the perfect example of this. He has become an NBA superstar in the last couple of weeks, where people have been like,
That
"Oh
would have
man,
happened anyway,
really?
Jeremy.
No,
it would have happened
Stugotz,
anyway.
No one would have been watching the Indiana Pacers if not for these nationally televised games where they take down the Boston Celtics at the end of a game. He is playing spectacular basketball, but you know what? You would have just said, do it in the playoffs. Everybody would have just said, do it in the playoffs. Nobody pays attention to the regular season. And now, in these couple of weeks, you've given him this platform to turn into the superstar that he rightfully deserves to be, and that is spectacular.
Has this expanded the audience? Are more people watching these games? Because
saw
I
they got a
maintain,
mil-
yes.
they got
but
a million
Halliburton would have
viewers.
become a star anyway, guys.
Indiana Boston got over 1 million viewers going up against Monday Night Football,
Yes.
which is a good story to tell. Imagine if there weren't IST stakes on it, it would be a much lower number.
And you would have only had local broadcasts for it, right? Like, I work on a local broadcast. I'm grateful for the numbers that we get. But when you look at nationally televised games to build up the narratives for players that you're looking to establish all year long. Bam Adebayo, as we're always talking about, right? He's going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He doesn't get that love until there's a nationally televised game where he shuts somebody down. Tyrese Halliburton has taken advantage of this stage. He now gets to do it against the Bucks and Giannis. I mean, this is everything that we want at this time of the year. And to get it in the middle of the regular season, this has been a huge success.
Tony, why are you laughing? Are you playing to the camera there?
Yeah, I was playing to the camera,
It's a
Dan.
mask.
It was looking at me. So Chris has been talking in my ear like, "Hey, you're on camera. Nod." So when Mike was making a point, I would go like this.
Tell us how the sausage
Give away
is
the
made.
bit.
But then I looked up and I was like,
I know, but you distracted me.
"Oh, sorry."
No one cares about that.